What's going on, everybody? And welcome to another episode of Unbound. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Ladies and gentlemen, we got a pack one for you today. Uh, whoa. Why am I hearing myself? Whoa. There we go. That's better. That's better. Again, welcome to another episode of Unbound. Welcome, where nothing is off limits and every story matters. I'm Jay Morales, and tonight we're diving into some of the biggest news shaping the U.S., Latin America, and the world. From major military moves to political showdown in Washington, from breaking international sanctions to shocking sports scandals, and of course, the latest entertainment with Bad Bunny making history yesterday. We're breaking it all down, segment by segment, giving you the details the mainstream media might skip, asking tough questions and exploring what it all means for you. So buckle up. It's going to be a deep dive into today's top headlines, and we're starting right now. And also as well, with us tonight, as always, Revelations. How we doing, Revelations? Happy Friday.
You know, it's good. And chat, we thank you for being here as always. And as you've heard, we have those absolutely wonderful upcoming juicy tidbits of topics that we are going to discuss. And so, without further ado, let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. We're going to dive right into it. I would like to say, what's up already, RMR? It's my dad. What's up already here? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Welcome to another beautiful Friday. The end of the week. You guys already know. Yeah, that wasn't the one. But still hitting hard. Hello, everybody, and welcome. All right, we're going to move in right into it. The U.S. sends an aircraft carrier to Latin America, a major military escalation. So, all right, here we go. So, tonight we're starting off with the breaking news, and the entire Western Hemisphere is on alert. According to multiple reports, the United States is sending one of its most powerful naval assets, the USS Gerald R. Ford, to Latin America. And this isn't standard counter-narcotics patrol. This is being called by many officials and journalists alike a major escalation in the region. Military posture, in the region's military posture. Now, here's what is unfolding, guys. The Pentagon confirmed earlier this week that the General R. Ford Carrier Strike Group has been reassigned to the area of U.S. Southern Command. That's the region covering the Caribbean Sea, Central America, and South America. This carrier group isn't going alone. It's accompanied by guided missile destroyers. Is something wrong? Is my camera not on, ladies and gentlemen? I apologize for the inconvenience. Wow. How unprofessional of me. I promise you this isn't a show without a camera. We're here and we're live. Sorry about that. So sorry. If you want
So
me,
unprofessional, Jay.
so unprofessional of me. Holy crap. But we're here and we're live. And that's how you know that we're live, ladies and gentlemen. We make it happen no matter the cause here. We're gonna start over. The Pentagon confirmed this earlier this week, guys, that the General R. Ford Carrier Strike Group has been reassigned to the area of U.S. Southern Command. That's the region covering the Caribbean Sea, Central America, and South America. This carrier group isn't going alone. It's accompanied by guided missile destroyers, reconnaissance aircraft, and support vessel, giving the U.S. the ability to project immense military power across Latin American waters within hours. Pentagon officials, including commentary from Fox News host and Army veteran Pete Hegseth, said deployment is meant to bolster U.S. capacity to detect, monitor, uh, and also disrupt illicit actors and activities that compromise the safety of the United States homeland. But let's be clear. This is a far cry from the typical drug boat patrol. The sheer size and scope of this deployment suggests something much larger. The General R. Ford isn't just another ship. It's the newest and most advanced aircraft carrier in the world, equipped with electromagnetic launch systems, stealthier radar signatures, and air wing capable of both reconnaissance and long-range strike missions, moving into moving it into the Caribbean and South America waters, a region that hasn't seen a full carrier group in decades. Send a strong message not just to drug cartels, but also to regional powers like Venezuela, Cuba, and even China, which has been increasing its influence through ports and resource deals across Latin America. According to reports from the Washington Post and AP News, this escalation follows a series of U.S. air and naval strikes on suspected drug trafficking boats, of which resulted in multiple fatalities earlier this month. The operations were ordered directly under the Trump administration's new policy, which classified certain cartels linked groups as unlawful combatants. In other words, treating them like enemy fighters rather than criminal organizations. This transforms. This shift transforms what used to be law enforcement mission into a military campaign. Officials say the goal is to deterrence, but foreign policy and analysts are warning that it blurs the lines of sovereignty and could lead to diplomatic fallout. Shout out to Rosalinda. Welcome back. For context, the carrier group had recently completed exercises in the Mediterranean Sea, where it was conducting a NATO-related operations. Its sudden deployment to the Western Hemisphere represents a clear strategic pivot, one that suggests Washington's attention is swinging back towards its southern neighbors. Now, Latin American leaders are reacting with a mix of alarm and confusion. In Colombia, where tensions have grown over new U.S. sanctions against President Gustavo Petro as administration, government officials said the move raises concerns about militarization and called for transparency about U.S. intentions. Meanwhile, in Venezuela, President Nicolas Maduro denounced the move as imperialist aggression, put his own naval and air forces on a state of heightened alert. Critics of Trump's administration approach say this could reignite Cold War style friction in the Americas. Some point the U.S. Hardening stance towards leftist government and the growing Chinese and Russian presence in regional infrastructure and energy projects as part of the underlying motivation. Still, the Pentagon insists this is about national security and encountering organized crime, right? Countering organized crime. Come on now, docket team. You need to write that better next time. Let's see here. What just happened? Oh, man. What about those chicken nuggets, huh? With the best consistency, according to Revelations.
Oh yeah, they gotta stick on walls.
They will stick.
And only walls. Don't go throwing them on cars, children.
Yep. We're not going to do that this Halloween.
Yeah, don't go egging people's houses or toilet paper and stuff.
Nope,
That's a no-no.
Nope. We got to be good.
And most importantly, don't go sticking objects or lacing objects in candy. You're an absolute menace, and I hope you get whatever happens to you if you do that stuff.
What's up, PRUSA? Welcome back. Thank you for coming by and tuning in. Facts. Now, continuing on. Thank you. Officials argue that the region has become a hub for fentanyl and cocaine trafficking, illegals, arms transfers, and even cyber operations like to transnational groups. Um, all of which they claim justify a stronger military footprint. Let's not forget this comes just weeks after reports of joint cartel networks operating between Mexico, Venezuela, and Caribbean routes, which intelligence sources say have been moving narcotics and weapons using modified fishing boats and semi submersibles. Is this about drugs or is it about deterrence? Is this the first sign of broader geopolitical play in the Americas under Trump leadership? What do you think?
Oh hell no, they aren't gonna move a goddamn fucking aircraft carrier, specifically the Gerald R. Ford, the most highly advanced super carrier in the world, to the Caribbean for drug operations, which could easily be handled by a fleet carrier, which is just normally where they hold Marines and a bunch of helicopters.
Right.
Easily could be handled by that and a destroyer.
Right.
No, so they bring in that bitch after fucking Venezuela says all that shit and buzzes, you know, our boats with fucking their planes. So bringing this bitch in is basically like saying, "Hey Venezuela, you try that shit again, there's gonna be some serious consequences because right now you're in the fuck around. You try it again, it's find out time."
Yep. Yep. That's how it be, ladies and gentlemen. That's how it be. Now, um, where did it go? But whatever also the case, it's clear that this move represents one of the largest U.S. naval escalations in Latin America in over 2 decades, and it's happening fast. Some other more questions here, docket team. Thank you. Uh, is this a defensive measurement to, meant to protect U.S. interests, or it's Washington setting the stage for something much bigger in the region? And how will Latin American nations respond when the U.S. begins operation more aggressively in their waters?
Well, maybe you shouldn't have backed Venezuela when they started acting like they were stronger than fucking, oh, I don't know, literally the strongest nation in the world after they were attacking fucking cartels.
Right.
If there was any confusion on whether or not that was a fishing boat, you should have been like, "Oh, hey, um, U.S., we're thinking that was a fishing boat. Can we at least, work with you on whether or not that was, yada yada yada," instead of just immediately going and saying, "Oh, hey, no, fuck you guys, that was a fishing boat. You know, you stop that, or we're gonna, go to war with you."
Yeah.
Like they went from 0 to 100 and made it worse,
Mm-hmm.
and then doubled down the next time it happened and said, "Oh no, that was innocent civilians there. Blah blah blah. You do it again, and we're gonna go to war with you." It's like you said that last time. It doesn't appear you're going to.
On that note, guys, make sure to leave us in the comment section your answers to these questions. We are always keeping an eye out on the comment sections about our discussions. We also are discussing this with you. So don't be afraid to give your opinion or your facts on the bottom right there or next to us. I don't know which side it is, but go ahead and leave us your comments and we'll let you know. I think it's this side. Might be. or down here.
One of the sides.
One of the sides. YouTube style, baby. All right. So, real quick. You know, it's Friday. We're going to be jumping through the loops of all this political stuff. Happy Friday, everybody. We made it another week. We're alive. Um, I don't have a script for this one in front of me if that's what you're going to think, because I don't. But I want you guys to know that for those of you who are working hard, know that, it's easy for us to be able to, um, with no worries at all, even though we could be struggling as well. But no issues for us to go to the store and be able to buy a gallon of milk or a pack of meat, even though it's expensive, or a pack of eggs. But let's not forget that next month, certain people won't be able to do that. You know what I mean? Certain people that, yeah, could be able to scrounge up some money and get something because they could, but some of them can't. So let's hope and pray that everybody has a good Thanksgiving next month. Am I right?
Yeah.
So yeah, success. Oh God. Now moving along. Uh, for the second story, we're heading into the legal front lines of Washington's shutdown chaos. In a stunning late night ruling out of California, a federal judge has temporarily blocked the Trump administration from firing federal employees during the ongoing government shutdown. The decision has sparked outrage inside the administration, relief among union workers, and confusion for millions of Americans watching the shutdown grind on. Let's break it down. Over the past few weeks, the Trump administration has faced increasing scrutiny for its aggressive approach to managing the shutdown. In its fourth week, amid the political stalemate with Congress over funding bills, the administration began issuing termination notices, not just for furloughs, to thousands of federal employees. According to court filings, over 4,000 layoff letters had already gone out. With some reports suggesting up to 10,000 were being prepared for release by the end of the month. But that all came to a sudden halt this week when the U.S. District Judge Susan Ilston issued a temporary restraint order, stopping the administration from executing any further layoffs. The ruling came after multiple federal employee unions, including the American Federation of Government Employees, the AFGE, and the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, the AFSCME, sued the administration, calling the firing unconstitutional and retaliatory. Judge Ilston didn't mince words in her written order. She stated it's very much ready fire, aim on most of these programs, and it has a human cost. It's a human cost that cannot be tolerated. That's a direct quote from the bench, and it's resonated across Washington. Now, here's where things get complicated. Typically, when the federal government shuts down, we see furloughs, temporary suspensions where employees aren't paid but keep their job and once funding resumes. What made this situation so controversial was the administration's attempt to permanently terminate employees during that lapse in funding. Labor attorneys say that move violated multiple federal statutes, including the Anti-Deficiency Act and the Civil Service Reform Act, which protect federal workers from political motivated and procedural improper terminations. The unions argue that the administration was weaponizing the shutdown to bypass Congress, reshape the federal workforce without authorization. The Trump administration, on the other hand, claimed it was acting within its authority, citing fiscal necessity and governmental efficiency as justification for the layoffs. Officials argue that the shutdown had dragged on long enough that maintaining thousands of idle workers was no longer attainable. But critics quirkily fire back, calling the move union busting through crisis. And now, with the Judge Ilston ruling in place, the White House attempt to shrink the federal payroll is efficient. If it's effectively on ice, at least for now. The temporary blocks mean no additional workers can be terminated until the case moves forward in federal court. A hearing is already scheduled for early next week, where a judge will decide whether to extend the injunction or allow the administration to resume the layoffs. Meanwhile, the human impact of this shutdown is spreading fast. Thousands of federal workers have already missed multiple paychecks. Families are struggling to pay rent, mortgages, and utilities. Food banks in D.C., Virginia, Maryland have reported surges in demand, with many people lining up wearing federal ID badges. This ruling has become a symbolic turning point in the shutdown standoff. On one hand, it's a victory for workers who say they're being punished for political games. On the other hand, it's a reminder that the courts are now being forced to step in to mediate disputes that should be resolved in Congress. Legal analysis say Judge Ilston ruling could set a major precedent for future shutdowns. If the courts ultimately decide that presidents cannot initiate mass firings during a funding lapse, that could severely limit executive leverage in any future budget standoff. And politically, the optics are rough. The Trump administration has been pushing the narrative that federal agencies are bloated and inefficient, using the shutdown to highlight what it calls wasteful bureaucracy. But to the American public, watching families struggle to stay afloat, it looks like less reform and more like retaliation. As of now, the Justice Department has not yet filed an appeal, but sources close to White House say that under serious consideration. So here's the question for you guys tonight: was this ruling a check on executive overreach, or is it an unnecessary judicial intervention in a fiscal crisis? And should a president be able to cut jobs during a shutdown if Congress can't agree on funding? And what happens to the thousands of families who were told they no longer had a job, no stuck in limbo waiting for Washington to make up its mind? Uh, what do you think?
No, honestly, this is just my personal opinion. There's a lot of fucking overspending in the government and way too many fucking, like, there are too many jobs. Like, a lot of shit could be done with fewer people in every single fucking, like, area that the government has. So, look, there's tons of money going to every single area,
Yeah.
and it's just being wasted.
Oh, like crazy.
Like I'll put it to you in perspective. We spend millions of dollars every year buying fucking hand sanitizer, and some of it just sits around. Like, the fuck do we need that much hand sanitizer for if we're not gonna use all of it? Like, this is the kind of shit, and and we have to pay people to catalog all of this shit. Like, the fuck? I I understand there's got to be people to catalog everything in the fucking, like, so, you know like, archive all of the stuff that gets in, but needless shit. Why do we need all this needless shit? Like you're spending all that money on that shit. So there's so what other kind of shit are we like that leads me to like question what how many people have you hired to do fucking all these other things that we could eliminate and make them cheaper and probably easier to fucking run so that there's less fucking red tape people have to jump through instead of having to call this person up, then they got to go to their supervisor, who has to go to their supervisor, transfer you to this branch, go to their supervisor, just to get you to the fucking, like information to get you, like from fucking 4 months ago to your case.
Yeah.
Like, and then you figure then there's the post office. Fucking, oh, you have to return this form for jury duty. Have by the you have to it has to be returned by this day. Uh, uh and they deliver it to you fucking 2 days before the fucking thing, and it was shipped out like 3 weeks, before that.
Mm.
It's like, yeah, congratulations, post office. It's like, you're a fucking government agency. You think you would have, with all that funding you have, you would be able to fucking work on time. But no. Fucking slowest ass thing in the world. To see what I mean, you would it's kind of things like that. Like wasteful ass spending. Again, personal opinion.
No, that's
Others may
perfect.
have their own.
That's perfect. That's perfect. That's why we're here, and I want you guys to start communicating with us and letting us know what you guys think in the comment section. Get involved, chat. Get involved. We're here. All right. Moving along. Here we go. Things just got intense between Washington and Bogota. The Biden why is it? See, you guys are screwing up, Doc and Thing. Not the Trump administration has announced. Yeah, here we go. The Trump administration has announced major sanctions against Colombia's sitting president and several members of his family. This marks one of the most serious diplomatic rifts between the two nations in recent decades. It's sending shockwaves through Latin America, throughout Latin America and the international community. According to reports, the U.S. Treasury Department has imposed sanctions on Colombian President Gustavo Petro, his brother Juan Fernando Petro, and his son Nicolas Petro Burgos, following what officials describe as credible evidence linking them to the global narcotics trade. The sanctions freeze all assets under U.S. jurisdiction and prohibit American individuals or companies from conducting business with them. The White House, sorry about that. The White House said the move was made after months of intelligence sharing among the DEA, CIA, and the Department of Justice, which allegedly uncovered transactions and communications connecting members of the Petro family to top figures within major cartels in Colombia, Mexico, and even Venezuela. Now, President Petro has denied all allegations, calling the sanctions a political motivated attack and accusing Washington of trying to undermine Colombia's sovereignty. He went on to say that his administration has done more than any of his predecessors to combat drug trafficking, pointing to record seizures of cocaine and dismantling of several criminal networks over the past year. But here's the twist: U.S. officials claim that while Petro publicly pushed anti-drug campaigns, some of those operations were being used as a cover to launder money and redirect shipments under the radar of Colombian law enforcement. This reportedly came to light through intercepted communications and bank transactions flagged by international financial watchdogs. The sanctions don't just stop with the family. Several high-ranking officials within Petro's administration are also under review for potential involvement. The U.S. State Department has already revoked multiple visas and restricted travel for several Colombian officials believed to be part of the network. This move could have massive impacts on U.S. Colombian relations, especially since Colombia has long been one of Washington's strongest allies in South America, particularly in counter narcotics operation. The Colombian peso dropped sharply following the announcement, and several Latin American leaders have spoken out, calling for diplomacy rather than punitive measures. Meanwhile, analysts warn that this could push Colombia closer to regional powers like Venezuela or Brazil, as Petro seeks to strengthen alliances with leaders who have been critical of U.S. foreign policy in the region. So here's the questions. If these allegations prove true, are we witnessing the collapse of one of America's most important anti drug partnership in Latin America? Or could this be a political power play designed to pressure Colombia's leadership amid rising tensions across the region? And how far is Washington willing to go with this new posture, especially as it sends military assets like aircraft carriers, like we talked about earlier, closer to America's shores? Because if this pattern continues, it's just not just diplomacy on the line; it's the future of regional stability in the Western Hemisphere. What do you think? You there?
Um,
I think we lost Revelations, guys.
no, no, I'm
Oh,
still
oh,
here.
oh,
I'm,
okay.
I'm trying to think of an answer.
That's a good process. Yeah.
I honestly don't know. It's just I don't know what has gotten up with that area of like South America recently. Like you hadn't heard from them in fucking years. Like yeah, there was the occasional gripe of like, oh hey, we don't like the U.S. Oh hey, we don't like Western allies. We don't like NATO. Yada yada yada. That was all you heard. What the fuck? What bug crawled up their ass and died? That they suddenly like got so pissed off at everyone, and they feel like they can take on the world. Like I'm not, saying this as like, oh hey, I feel we're superior to these people. I'm genuinely wondering what the fuck happened. It is a total shift from their attitude. Like you know what I'm talking about. When was the last time you ever heard them in the news other than this past year?
I think it's been a minute, to be frank with you. It's
Yes.
been a minute.
It's so weird. Because when this first started happening, I'm like, what the fuck? Where'd this even come from? It's like that quiet kid who is literally friendly with everyone, and then all of a sudden he just starts fucking screaming and punching people, and you're like, what the fuck? How the fuck did this come from?
Yeah, right?
You're like, one day he's like all cheery, happy, he literally just gave a fucking lollipop to some like little girl on the street. Next day he's fucking beating the shit out of like some fucking kid in the hallway. What the fuck just happened? Like, total, total fucking change. I don't know.
What I think that Washington seems willing to escalate considerably, not just in the interdiction to, but in using military presence, intelligence operations, and diplomatic leverage. But it still has to balance that against regional diplomacy, legal constraints, and the risk of alienating important partners like Colombia. What do you think?
I mean, I never thought of Colombia being an important partner. Like,
Well,
they're
let's
not
not
really
forget.
high up.
Let's not forget. How do you think the drugs got here in the first place?
True, but I mean, politically, Colombia is not really a important partner.
It was once upon a time when the big man was alive.
Yeah, once, but
When the big man
now,
was alive, the money is still coming from the ground, hidden
but like,
places. If you know who I
now,
mean, drop a comment.
but like now, it's, I mean, that whole area has kind of like really like they're like kind of I think they kind of have banded together and are like, yeah, we want to, form up and team together. Although the whole entire thing with that is they all fucking hate each other.
Yeah.
So I don't know how that's gonna work. It's gonna be one of those Balkan situations where they're like, we hate you, so we're gonna fight you. But as soon as we defeat you, we're gonna go and murder each other. And then you're gonna have to come in and stop us from murdering each other. But then we're gonna fight you, and then we're gonna murder each other again. It's like, the fuck? I'll never understand some regions of the world.
Uh,
It's just a needless cycle of like a needless cycle of I don't like you. I'm gonna shoot you. Then your brother comes outside, shoots me. Cops are gonna come, shoot him, but your sergeant is related to him, so he's gonna, and then it just keeps going and going and going and going and going.
That's all this happening.
Yeah, and until it fucking snowballs, I don't know. That's my whole.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, moving along here. Um, let's take a turn. We're gonna take a turn. We're gonna turn our focus, ladies and gentlemen, back home now, because this one hits our wallets of over 70 million Americans. The Social Security Administration has just announced that in January 2026, beneficiaries will be getting a 2.8% cost of living adjustment, or COLA. That means an average increase of about $56 per month for retirees and disabled recipients. Now, that might not sound like much, but for millions of Americans living on a fixed income, it's a lifeline amid rising costs of groceries, rent, and medical care. This 2.8% boost comes after a year of moderate inflation compared to the spikes we saw back in 2022 and 2023. The adjustment is tied to the Consumer Price Index for urban wage earners and clerical workers, the CPIW, a measure that tracks the cost of goods and services in simple terms. When inflation goes up, so does your Social Security check, but only slightly, and only after a full year calculation. Starting January 2026, retirement, disability, and survivor beneficiaries will all see the increase reflected in their monthly payments. For those receiving supplemental security income (SSI), the higher payment takes effect a little earlier on December 31st, 2025. According to the Social Security Administration, the average retired worker's benefit will rise from roughly 1,996 a month to about $2,052. For couples receiving benefits together, that number moves closer to $3,300 a month. Um, but here's where it gets tricky. Many seniors are saying the increase doesn't keep up with real costs of living. While the official inflation numbers may show moderation, prices for healthcare, utilities, and rent are climbing faster than general inflation. And that means the actual purchasing power for Social Security recipients might continue to slip, even with this bump. Economists have also raised concerns that Medicare Part B premiums, which are often deducted directly from Social Security payments, could rise in 2026, potentially cutting into that $56 again. Yeah, sorry, that $56 gain. So while the headline looks good, the real world benefit could end up smaller. Um, President Trump, who currently oversees this rollout, praised the move, saying it was part of his administration commitment to protect the dignity and income security of American seniors. But critics argue that the formula behind the COLA, based on spending patterns of working age Americans rather than retirees, underestimates what older citizens actually spend most on: healthcare, medication, housing. Advocacy groups like the Senior Citizen League have long pushed for a switch to a new metric, something called the CPIE, or Consumer Price Index for the elderly. They argue it would result in slightly higher annual increases that better reflect. Better reflect the real world expenses of retirees. Meanwhile, the broader issue of Social Security solvency, the trust fund to support retirement benefits is projected to become insolvent by the mid 2030s. If no reforms are made, that means future COLA increases could be at risk unless Congress acts on funding adjustments, payroll tax changes, or benefit reforms. So here's the big question: is this 2.8% raise enough to help seniors keep pace with inflation, or just a short-term political gesture before the next election cycle? And looking forward, how sustainable is it to keep offering these increases when the system itself is on a shaky financial ground? Because as we look ahead to 2026 and beyond, it's clear that for millions of Americans depending on these checks, a few extra dollars a month might not just be about inflation, it's about survival. What do you think?
Here's the thing. That'll be all good and fine and dandy for all of about 3, 4 months. And then because of this, the cost of living goes up, which makes that absolutely fucking useless at that point.
Facts.
That's how it always has been when those things like get put in. They adjust to the current cost of living at that time. They pump them out 3, 4 months later. Because of that, cost of living goes up. Then they redo it again, cost of living goes up. Like, that's literally how it is. It's just they fuck it up.
My money don't jiggle jiggle, it folds. I like to see you wiggle wiggle, for sure.
Yep. Like my good friend said, my money don't jiggle jiggle.
Yeah, it falls through my fucking pocket because of that shit.
Yep. And you know what else falls out of the pocket? Listen here, you coffee lovers out there, brace yourselves. Your morning coffee or your morning Joe is getting a lot more expensive. The U.S. has just seen a major spike in coffee prices and is being driven by two big factors: tariffs on imports and poor weather in key coffee growing regions around the world. Here's what's going on. According to the latest reports, an average price for a pound of ground coffee in the U.S. jumped to $9.14 in September of 2025. That's up 3% from last month and a whopping 41% higher than September 2024. Americans are paying a lot more for something that's used to be a morning staple, and it's trickling down to your local cafe. The U.S. imports are nearly 99% of the coffee it consumes, mainly from Brazil, Colombia, and Vietnam. But thanks to recent tariffs, which range from 10% to 40% depending on the country, the cost of roasters to import beans has shot up. Add to that droughts, heat waves, and erratic weather patterns in Brazil and Colombia, and the supply of quality beans has taken a serious hit. Coffee roasters report that their costs have surged by 70% in some cases, and many cafes have been forced to raise drink prices by 10 to 15% just to stay afloat. Some are even switching to in-house roasting to try to control expenses, but the higher global bean prices make that a stopgap, not a fix. Why does this matter? For consumers, this means higher prices at the grocery store and in coffee shops, affecting households who rely on their daily caffeine fix. Small businesses, particularly local coffee shops, are under pressure. Higher input costs, tariffs, and logistical challenges squeeze margins and could force some to cut back hours, reduce staff, or even close. Economists say that this is a warning sign for broader inflation and supply chain vulnerabilities. Coffee is just one example of how tariffs and climate disruptions can impact everyday items. Politically, the tariffs are already under scrutiny. Lawmakers have introduced a bipartisan bill to exempt coffee from tariffs, arguing that Americans shouldn't have to pay more for goods the U.S. doesn't produce domestically. Uh, will the bill pass if Congress acts prices and stabilize? But until then, consumers and small businesses feel the pinch. Climate risk remains a wild card. If bad weather continues in Brazil, Vietnam, or Colombia, global prices could climb even higher. Consumer behavior might change. Fewer cafe visits, cheaper beans, or more home brewing. We're just running through the recap there, by the way. And trade policy lessons, tariffs on imports that U.S. doesn't produce can backfire, passing costs to consumers rather than protecting American jobs. Now, here's my discussing questions. Should the U.S. rethink tariffs on products it doesn't produce domestically, like coffee? How much are climate related risks affecting everyday products and prices in the U.S.? What strategies can small businesses use to survive in a market with rising import costs in certain supply chains? Could a consumer permanently change their habits due to rising coffee prices? What other everyday items might face similar cost pressures from tariffs and weather disruptions? What do you think? What do you got?
I honestly don't know about that one. Like, that one is too broad of a
This one's too.
thing.
This one's too juicy too. A little juicy.
Like it's because tariffs are both political and economical, and they hurt both people, depending on what you do. And certain products only grow in certain places, and you can't just necessarily tell someone, hey, fuck you, because of this particular political and economical battle going on, you gotta change your habits. They're gonna be like, kick rocks, fucker. Like, I mean, that's just, see what I mean? There's nothing really there you can give a definite answer to.
Well, to the
Like,
first.
you just gotta,
Go ahead.
you just gotta be like, you know, just fucking deal with it.
Yeah, right. If you want your coffee, you're just gonna have to pay the tariff. You know what I mean? That $2 coffee or whatever you were paying like 2 years ago. Now
Yeah,
you
or
got,
just drink cheaper, more,
yeah,
coffee.
you're gonna drink coffee that has maybe some bugs in it or something, but you'll be all right.
Bro, everything has bugs in it.
Maybe
You've probably been eating bugs.
yeah, you're probably drinking.
Hell, you probably ate bugs in that goddamn tuna fish you had.
Ladies and gentlemen. Oh shoot, I didn't have it ready. What the heck? That wasn't it, but whatever.
Hell, there was probably some bugs in that cream too.
Whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
You're supposed docket team. You're supposed to have it ready.
Anyway. What was I saying here? Where were we going with this? Here we go. Ha! Producer Mike on the chat, everybody. Tariff the shit out of all of them. We gotta claw back all that USAID coin we gave away for years. USAID. USAID. You know what USAID is?
Hold on.
I see what you're doing. What USAID does promotes democracy and stability, supporting elections, good governance, and civil society in developing countries, fights poverty, funding education, healthcare, food security, and women's empowerment programs, response to disasters, providing emergency aid. Oh, okay. Support economic development, address global health. Okay, that's what that does. So the USAID budget is approved by Congress, roughly 30 to 40 billion per year,
Yeah,
and it goes
I
to
just found
humanitarian,
that.
health, and economic projects in more than 100 countries. So that's where our money is. All that debt comes from that 30 to 40 billion per year.
Yeah, but hey, we're the bad guys,
But
aren't we?
we're the bad guys. We're the fucking bad guys. What the heck, dude?
Yeah, but everybody hates us. But oh, hey, can we please have some more, Mr. USA?
Yeah, please. Please. Fuck your American citizens. We need the money. Oh, guess
Yeah, now
what,
you.
everybody? That little...
Nothing beats it.
It's
Jet
fucking
2
over,
holiday.
ladies and gentlemen.
Right now,
Yeah, your Jet 2 holiday's over, bitch. Kick rocks.
It's over. All right? It's over now. All right? It's over. What do you mean?
Figure out
A lot of them are like, what do you mean it's over?
yeah. Go figure out a way to make your own cream rise to the top.
The cream of the crop!
Hell yeah, you already know. Oh, my God. That was gold. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you, Producer Mike. That's how you get a conversation going. But this one is one of those stories that affects millions every morning. It's a perfect example of how global economics, trade policy, and climate combine to hit Americans right in the kitchen. And my kitchen, Revelation's kitchen, and most importantly, Producer Mike's kitchen.
Bro, my kitchen don't get used that much.
All right. You all right, Revelations?
No, that definitely wasn't me. I thought it was you. Yeah, I'm like, Jesus, Jay, you ripping a bong on the podcast?
Oh, God.
Docket team, are you ripping a bong on podcast? How unprofessional.
They're ripping something. Anyway, moving along here. We're gonna move into this next one. If you're planning to fly in the coming days, specifically now in the holidays, you might want to brace for delays. The the ongoing U.S. government shutdown is causing significant disruptions in air travel, with air traffic controllers working without pay and staffing shortages leading to widespread flight delays. The government shutdown, now entering its fourth week, has left approximately 13,000 air traffic controllers and 50,000 TSA officers working without pay. This has led to an increase in sick calls and a decline in morale among controllers. Transportation Security Sean Duffy noting that controller staffing shortages were responsible for 5% of flight delays before the shutdown, but have now surged to 53% due to the ongoing crisis. Excuse me, real quick. Sorry about that. Major airports, including LaGuardia, Newark, Reagan National, Phoenix, Houston, and San Diego, have reported delays and ground stops attributed to air traffic controller shortages. On Thursday alone, over 6,000 flights were delayed nationwide, up from around 4,000 earlier in the week. The Federal Aviation Administration, the FAA, has been forced to slow air traffic to ensure safety, leading to further delays and cancellations. The situation is exacerbated by the looming expiration of funding for the Essential Air Service Program, which subsidizes flights to rural communities. If the shutdown continues, these services could be suspended, isolating remote areas that rely on air travel for essential needs. Airlines and airport stakeholders are stepping in with assistance, such as providing meals and support services to affected workers. Union leaders and aviation professionals are pushing for an end to the shutdown, stressing an impact on safety and workers' well-being. Transportation Security Duffy emphasized the importance of controllers continuing to report to work, stating it's not moving as many flights as possible, it's moving as many flights as possible safely. However, with controllers working extended shifts up to 10 hours a day, 6 days a week, and many seeking second jobs to make ends meet, concerns about safety and fatigue are mounting. The ongoing government shutdown is not only affecting the financial stability of air traffic controllers, but also compromising the safety and efficiency of the nation's air travel system. As the nation continues, the travelers can expect more delays and disruptions unless a resolution is reached promptly. So I don't have any. I don't have any discussion questions about that. But my personal opinion about all this stuff is that if this government shutdown continues, a lot of things are gonna be different very soon.
On that note, though, if you are planning on doing air travel, make sure you fork out the extra change, and that way you're getting the best, pilots and everything in the planes in these times, and not going with Spirit Airlines, because we all know their reputation, and it's gonna be even worse with the government shutdown.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. That airline sucks. I never fly anything else besides JetBlue. JetBlue, I love you.
Like,
Please be the sponsor of the show.
like you do not want to be on Spirit Airlines, and you
No.
don't want to be on them, especially right now. Like, fly with somebody that's actually hires experienced people.
Right?
Like, because even if the air traffic controllers are probably going to be assholes right now, at least those experienced pilots are going to be like, okay, he's being an asshole, but I'm still going to listen to him. Whereas, the Spirit Airlines person, if you've ever heard them, yeah, they're not too kind to air traffic.
No, they're not. Producer Mike over here. We all know. Producer Mike's docket team. Now it's on the chat.
Oh, is his docket team trying to start a war with our docket team?
Well, I think so. Yeah. He said here. What about your kitchen, Jay? Cooking segment on Unbound? No. That's not this show is not that type of show. Uh, don't care just as long as they figure it out by Christmas. I gotta fly then. Otherwise, suck it up. Retire like me if you have to. Make a plan and quit your bitching. Be prepared like a Boy Scout. It's kind of sound a little bit pedo, but all right.
I can tell you when I was in the Boy Scouts, I was not fucking prepared.
Oh God.
Because I've cried 1,000 times, I'm gonna cry some more.
You know. I think I'll cry right now. Wah.
Oh God.
Yeah, I cried more.
It's okay to cry. It's okay to cry more.
Real talk, everybody. Whoever the fuck says guys shouldn't cry, they can fuck right off.
Yes. And that's why we always give you the mental health at the end of the show, ladies and gentlemen. A man can cry. A man can go talk to somebody. A man can go hug a friend. A man, to feel good, can cry, ladies and gentlemen. That is okay. It's okay to cry. Producer Mike.
And it's
okay
and
to
it's
cry.
20 and it's 2025. Same with the ladies.
Yep.
We support mental health for everybody.
For everybody. Now, moving in a dramatic escalation of U.S. and countering narcotics operation, the Pentagon has confirmed a deadly airstrike in the Caribbean Sea, marking the 10th such attack since September. 6 individuals were killed aboard a vessel allegedly linked to the Venezuelan gang Tren de Agua.
Oh.
A group the Trump administration has labeled as narco-terrorist organization. According to Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, the strike occurred overnight in international waters. The targeted vessel was reportedly operating along a known drug trafficking route. A video released by Hegseth shows the boat being struck and engulfed in flames. This operation is part of a broader campaign initiated by President Donald Trump to combat drug trafficking in the region. Since the campaign launched, the U.S. military has conducted multiple strikes, resulting in at least in 43 deaths. The operation has been carried out using advanced military assets, including guided missile destroyers, F-35s, and a nuclear submarine. The Pentagon has also announced the deployment of the U.S. Gerald R. Ford aircraft carrier, like we said earlier, and its strike group to U.S. Southern Command to enhance capabilities in detecting, disrupting drug trafficking and transnational criminal organizations. The strikes have sparked criticism and legal concerns. Legal experts question the legality of the operations, particularly regarding the targeting of individuals who are not combatants in an armed conflict. Additionally, the classification of gangs like Tren de Agua as terrorist organizations has been disputed. Colombian President Gustavo Petro condemned the strikes, labeling them violations of international law and acts of murder. And closing discussion here, as the U.S. continues its military campaign in the Caribbean, questions arise about the balance between combating drug trafficking and adhering to international law. The U.S. military force in non-war contexts raises complex legal and ethical issues that warrant further scrutiny. What do you think?
So they said that what did they say? Like something they said it was something about an armed conflict.
Something to do with that, yes.
Okay, well that's physically impossible because that's not an armed conflict because the definition of an armed conflict is a prolonged period of sustained combat involving the use of armed forces, like armed force, between states, within a state, between a government and organized armed groups. Key characteristics include the use of military and civilian forces, a significant level of violence, and the involvement of organized groups. So, fighting a fucking drug cartel does not count because they're not technically an organized group. Like, like, and you're not, and they're not, unless the government themselves, like, unless Venezuela or Colombia or wherever the fuck they're based out of, recognizes them as a organized, like, criminal entity.
It says the classification of gangs like the Tren de Agua as a terrorist organization has been disputed.
Yeah, see, it's still disputed, so they're not recognized. Whereas a lot of, like, the ones in Mexico are recognized as an organization, like MS-13 and whatnot.
Oh, this is the part you were talking about. Legal experts questions the legality of the operations, particularly regarding the targeting of individuals who are not combatants in an armed conflict. Additionally, the classification of gangs like Tren de Agua as a terrorist organization has been disputed. Colombian President Gustavo Petro um, condemned the strikes, labeling them as violations of international law and acts of murder.
But I don't see how, though, it could be murder if, like, because that I just couldn't see, though. Because like, that's the whole entire thing. Like, you don't go after a like, drug cartel, drug smuggling boat, right?
Mm-hmm.
Without knowing what the fuck it is. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so that's not murder. Like, you're doing it for a reason. Those motherfuckers got on there knowing full well that they were putting their life on the line, committing a criminal act, trying to smuggle drugs into another country from a country as criminals, part of a criminal organization. So it literally is not murder. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
the fact the fact that dipshit McGee President Fucktard over here is just trying to puff out his chest is just mind-boggling. And this goes back to the previous one. The fact that they suddenly are just, like, after that whole quote-unquote fishing boat, um, uh, they just suddenly are now all in the news and, you know, like, acting like they're so big and tough. Like, I don't understand. Like, first it was just Venezuela, then fucking Colombia, and now Bogota. Like,
Bogota is Colombia.
oh, my bad. Okay, yeah. So Venezuela and Colombia.
Yep.
Like, what the fuck are they? Why? Those countries have historically fucking hated each other. I don't know.
Drugs talk. Drugs talk. Revelations. Drugs talk.
Yeah, drugs talk, but the cartels who control them don't fucking talk. In fact, those are the least likely to talk.
Producer Mike, what do you mean bump up your volume? Like, it's high. I'm listening through it through my headphones. Even Revelations here is coming in hot. All right. My money don't jiggle jiggle. Remember that. And a significant shift in
Listen,
media. What?
listen, I had money that I wish I had money that did.
That sponsor is brought to you by.
SC Johnson, a family company.
Not that kind of money.
Oh,
No.
oh. That was a little bit diddy-ish. Sorry about that. Moving on though, in a significant shift in media access, the Pentagon has announced a new press corps composed primarily of conservative and independent media outlets. This restructuring restructuring follows a mass walkout by traditional journalists in response to new reporting restrictions imposed by Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. The Pentagon's new press corps includes over 60 journalists from outlets such as the Gateway Pundit, National Pulse, Human Events, Timcast, Just the News, Frontlines, by Turning Point USA, and Liddell TV. The organizations agreed to adhere to the Pentagon's new media policy, which requires reporters to cover only pre-approved news and prohibits seeking unauthorized information. This policy led to a walkout on October 15, 2025, when reporters from major outlets like the New York Times, the Associated Press, CNN, the Washington Post turned in their press credentials rather than comply with the new rules. The Pentagon Press Association and Reporters Committee for Freedom of the Press have voiced strong opposition, citing concerns over transparency, press freedom, unilateral control of information, decimation by Pentagon officials. Defense Secretary Hegseth defended the new policy, stating that it's safeguard national security and ensures accurate reporting. He criticized the departing journalists as part of self-righteous media and praised the new group as reflecting mainstream America's move away from legacy news. The restructuring has sparked widespread criticism. Legal experts question the legality of the operations, particularly regarding the targeting of individuals who are not combatants in an armed conflict. Additionally, the classification of gangs like Tren de Agua as terrorist organization has been disputed. Colombian President Gustavo, wait, why is that? Why is that going like that? Oh, it's because that's what they were talking about. Okay. The classifications of gangs like Tren de Agua as terrorist organizations have been disputed. Colombian President Gustavo Petro condemned the strikes, labeling the violations of international law and acts of murder. That's so weird that repeats itself here. As the Pentagon continues its media overhaul, questions arise about the balance between safeguarding national security and upholding press freedom. The use of restrictive reporting policies raises complex legal and ethical issues that warrant further scrutiny. So they were just talking about that today as well at that hearing. It looks like, the first time having all those reporters. I'm going to read this last segment because I only have, I believe, one more after that, and then before I read my last little bit of that last segment, then then we can go off. I know you have a few things you wanted to talk about, so let me just go through this one real quick, and then we're over, and then we'll do a couple ads real quick. Did you want me to do? Did you need me to do an ad before you start? Right?
No.
No? Okay. Did you hear about the NBA coach and the players arrested in a mass mafia backed gambling scheme?
Bro, that's the funniest shit ever.
Well, in a scandal that has sent shockwaves through the NBA, Portland Trailblazers head coach Chauncey Billups and Miami Heat guard Terry Rozier have been arrested in connection with a sprawling illegal gambling operation. This scheme, allegedly backed by mafia families, involved insider betting and rigged poker games, leading to over 30 arrests nationwide. And what I hear, more people are going to be arrested. On October 23rd, 2025, Chancey and Terry were taken into custody by federal authorities. Billups faces charges of wire fraud conspiracy and money laundering conspiracy related to orchestrating fixed poker games with mafia backing using high-tech cheating methods involving X-ray tables and counterfeit shuffling devices. Rozier is accused of sharing confidential NBA game information to aid gambling schemes, notably tipping off associates about planned early exits from games to manipulate prop bets. The arrests were part of a larger federal investigation that has implicated over 30 individuals across 11 states. The FBI Operational Royal Flush focused on the poker scheme connected to mafia families, while nothing but targeted sports betting based on leaked player information. The operation utilized advanced technology such as, like I said, X-ray card tables, rigged shuffling machines, specialized contact lenses to cheat players of millions during underground poker games held in cities like Manhattan, Miami, Las Vegas, and the Hamptons. Participants, including Billups and Jones, were allegedly compensated for their involvement. The scheme reportedly cost victims over $7 million and was connected to at least 3 New York Mafia families who maintained control through intimidation and violence when debts weren't unpaid. In addition to the poker scheme, Rozier is accused of sharing insider information about NBA games. In March 2023, Rozier allegedly informed associates that he would leave a game early due to injury, allowing them to place over $200,000 in bets predicting his underperformance. Both Billups and Rozier have been placed on leave by their teams, and the NBA has expressed concerns over the integrity of the game. The league emphasized its commitment to upholding the highest standards and ensuring that such incidents do not undermine the trust of fans and stakeholders. The scandal has also raised questions about the integrity of sports betting, particularly concerning prop bets and insider information. The NBA and sportsbook providers like FanDuel have expressed concern, while the FBI noted the fraud as comparable to insider trading. The scandal has far-reaching implications for the NBA and the broader sports betting industry. The league will likely implement stricter monitoring and compliance measures to prevent such incidents in the future. Additionally, the case underscores the need for robust regulation and oversight to protect the integrity of the sports. Wow. They made mad money. And more than likely, I bet it was more than $7 million, by the way. And I bet that money's going to keep counting up. I don't think it's just $7 million. What do you think?
Yeah, that they probably will.
Yeah, they probably will.
Oh yeah, he hit a good one.
No. Send it. Send it. Send it to your segment.
Okay, so we have a very interesting one for anyone that is a uh, enjoyer of the
I'm back.
alcohol variety. If you are familiar with the brand Samuel Adams, they now have a beer that is so strong it is illegal in 15 states. Um, uh, they have just released it at a price tag of $240 per bottle, and it cannot be sold, like I said, in 15 states.
Wow.
Utopia's The White Whale of Brewers is back for 2025, and it's stronger than ever. It's released every other year. It clocks in at a sorry about that. Jaw-dropping 30% ABV, higher than most liqueurs and as much as some rums. Despite that high number, it's still a beer, and that's where the sales issue comes in. Many states have a maximum ABV levels for beer, and 30% blows way past those limits. Utopia's, though, is unlike pretty much any other beer on the market. It's not carbonated since the alcohol levels devour any CO2. And served at room temperature, its taste is akin to a fine liquor, with a sweetness like a port or a cognac, and smooth, almost buttery malt-filled finish. The recommended serving size is 1 ounce, meaning you can get plenty of mileage out of a 24.5-ounce bottle. It then goes on to say blended a variety of vintages that have been aged up to 30 years and finished in Irish whiskey, Amarone, white port barrels, along with traditional ruby port, cognac, and Scotch casks. It was actually born from another Samuel Adams creation, 1992's Triple Bock, the beer industry's first barrel-aged beer, which sold for a then unheard of price of $100 per case. In '99, that then evolved into Millennium, and in 2002, it adopted the name Utopias.
Interesting.
So now we go into the next one. So let me pull that one up.
Well, he pulls that one up, everybody. Our usual sponsor, the Cayville Hotel and Tavern, in Kleinfeltersville, Pennsylvania. Seth and Jamie will take care of you. Let me see if I can get this up real quick.
So as of October the 23rd, 2025, Circle K is going to start selling hemp THC beverages nationwide, starting in 2026.
Woo!
For all of those who enjoy those products. Significant significant things for the THC beverage sector are afoot at Circle K. Ubiquitous roadside retailer and convenience store chains plan to start selling hemp-derived THC beverages in as many as 3,000 stores nationwide, the company officials told. Circle K is rolling out hemp THC beverages produced by Horticulture Company and branded by former NBA star Allen Iverson. What? In North Carolina, South Carolina, and Florida sometime in the final quarter of 2025. It's the latest and most ambitious step in the cannabis space for Circle K, which made a limited incursion into hemp drinks earlier this year in Georgia. It's the most recent and possibly the most prominent example of a mainstream retailer embracing a THC product. As quoted, this partnership makes the brand of one of the most accessible in space overnight and boasts awareness of the category with one of the most trusted retail environments, all while reinforcing both brand credibility and consumer confidence. Saf City Horticulture CEO told MJ Biz Daily on Wednesday. It's about as close to a national rollout as the industry has seen to date, and the largest in scale by any chain retailer. Circle K's partnership with Horticulture Co. also realizes a years-long effort made by the Quebec headquarter retail giant to add cannabis products to shelves. 2022 landmark deal to co-locate medical marijuana dispensaries operated by major multi-state operator Green Thumb Industries with Circle K gas stations in Florida fell apart after the state MMJ regulators rejected the idea. It then goes on to say that with the limited incursions into hemp-derived THC in Georgia and Florida earlier this year, is what made them want to do this. Then after launching the Iverson drinks in the Carolinas and Florida, Circle K plans to expand the hemp beverages across Circle K's U.S. store networks in states where THC products are authorized for sale sometime in 2026. It is produced in partnership with Viola, the company founded by fellow former NBA star Al Harrington. The Iverson THC drinks will have 10 milligrams of THC per can, according to convenience store trade publication C-Store Drive. As the potential is immense, as there are implications for $32 billion. Never mind. As the implications for the $32 billion U.S. cannabis industry as it exists. They operate 10,000 stores in North America and 48 U.S. states and 10 Canadian provinces. That looks to be all of the information relevant to that article.
Well,
Rest just goes on to be information already relevant to, like, the legal marijuana industry in the U.S.
no. Well, that leads me to the next thing here. If you're done with the weed topic, right? But this is what I wanted to say about the ending to this. A little Unbound PSA, right? Don't drive high. We know that
Or
cannabis.
drunk.
That too. We know that cannabis might be legal in some places, but driving high, that's still dangerous and illegal everywhere. Reaction to time slows down, focus drops, and that split-second delay can cost a life, yours or somebody else's. So if you're if you light up, don't drive. Call a friend, grab a ride share, or just wait it out. Getting home safe is way more important than saving a few minutes, because being unbound means being smart, being alive, and staying in control. Don't smoke and drive. A message brought to you by Unbound and Common Sense. Now moving along to our last a little bit of a segment here. Bad Bunny, historic night at the 2025 Billboard Latin Music Awards yesterday. On October 23rd, yesterday, at the James L. Knight Center in Miami, Puerto Rican superstar Bad Bunny made history by taking home 11 awards at the Billboard Latin Music Awards, including the prestigious Artist of the Year and the special Top Latin Artist of the 21st Century Award. Presented by the legendary Rita Moreno, this recognition cemented his status as one of the most influential Latin artists of all time. Bad Bunny, Debí Tirar Más Fotos, earned Top Latin Album, while his hit single DTMF, which is Debí Tirar Más Fotos, broken down into just a small phrase, garnered multiple awards, highlighting his dominance in Latin music scene. His record-breaking wins showcase not just quantity, but the cultural impact of his music worldwide. His performance at the ceremony was electric, blending signature Latin trap rhythms with his visually striking stage production, leaving the audience and viewers at home mesmerized. Every win Bad Bunny received at the ceremony reinforced his role as a global music icon, influencing both the Latin and mainstream music scenes. Some of Bad Bunny's award highlights here: Artist of the Year, Top Latin Artist of the 21st Century, Top Latin Album, which is Debí Tirar Más Fotos. Let's not forget that the Top Artist of the 21st Century was presented by Rita Moreno. Hot Latin Songs Male Artist of the Year, Global 200 Latin Artist of the Year, multiple awards of DTMF, which is Debí Tirar Más Fotos. These accolades mark the most wins in a single year by any artist at the Billboard Latin Music Awards, solidifying his place in Latin music history. Bad Bunny Unprecedented Night highlights the cultural and global influence he has cultivated. His ability to merge Latin rhythms with contemporary genres has expanded his fan base worldwide, breaking language barriers and redefining what it means to be Latin music superstar. His creative vision, fearless performances, and genre blending style have made him not just a chart topper, but a trendsetter in music and fashion. Inspiring millions of fans across the globe, this historic sweep at the Billboard Latin Music Awards reflects his continued rise and undeniable impact on music, culture, and Latin representation on the world stage. Also, adding to that, Roger Goodell defends Bad Bunny at the as Super Bowl halftime performer. In the face of conservative backlash, NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell has reaffirmed the league's decision to feature Bad Bunny as the headliner for the 2026 Super Bowl halftime show. Where's my buttons here, man? Come on, docket team. Despite criticism from figures like current President Donald Trump, who deemed the choice as absolutely ridiculous, Goodell emphasized that the election was carefully thought through and aimed to reflect the diverse and global audience of the NFL. He praised Bad Bunny as one of the leading and most popular entertainers in the world, underscoring the show's intent to showcase top-tier talent. Bad Bunny, known for his outspoken political views and advocacy for Latinx communities, responded to the controversy with characteristic humor and defiance. During his appearance on Saturday Night Live, he accused that critics had 4 months to learn Spanish before the Super Bowl, framing the performance as a celebration of Latino culture and a moment of unity. He also addressed concerns about potential immigration enforcement at the event, noting that his residency in Puerto Rico was deliberate choice to avoid U.S. venues to fears of U.S. ICE targeting his concert goers. The Super Bowl LX halftime show, scheduled for February 8th, 2026 at Levi Stadium in Santa Clara, California, will be broadcast nationally on NBC, Telemundo, and streaming platforms such as Peacock and NFL Plus. This marks a significant milestone as Bad Bunny becomes the first prominently Spanish language artist to headline the Super Bowl halftime show as a solo act. His previous appearance was as a guest during Shakira and Jennifer Lopez performance at Super Bowl LIV. Key takeaways here. Like I said, he got 11 awards. He also got awarded the top Latin of the of album of the year. Sorry, and multiple wins for his hit single "Debí tirar más fotos." His historic night solidifies as a global Latin music icon and trend center. Roger Goodell defends Bad Bunny as a Super Bowl LX halftime performer, emphasizing the NFL commitment to diversity and global representation. Bad Bunny responds to criticism with humor and pride, framing the performance as a celebration of Latino culture and unity. And that's all. That's all what we got, folks. That's all we got. You got anything else, buddy, old pal?
Like articles or?
Yeah, anything else? Like our favorite of all? You know, our favorite thing from you, sir. The daily reminder before we head out.
So, the daily reminder today is that if you are going to make some soup, first, what you must do is you must take a spoon. Then you must take a bowl. And you must take whatever fucking can of soup you want. Sorry, it will be in a can, because nobody makes, their own soup nowadays. Crack that bitch open. Hear the nice little... dump that bitch in the bowl. Then, put it in the microwave. Make that, cook that thing all nice. You're gonna get it all, warm, ready to eat. Then, what you're gonna do, put whatever seasonings on it. Then, and here comes the good part. You're gonna crunch up some nice, good crackers. You're gonna stir that bitch around. And then, for a little bit of extra flavor, add some shredded cheese and watch that bitch melt. Then trust me, you're gonna have a good time. Or, well, actually, no, not or. No, see, just have the soup. But for a good luck, just to make sure that it's really tasty, throw a chicken nugget on the wall and then eat your food. And so that's what you got to do. But remember, the chicken nugget's key to make sure it's good. It's always the key. Anytime you're having bad luck in life, your soup's not good, throw a chicken nugget on the wall. Soup's gonna be good. Remember, that's what you got to do to have good soup.
Heck
but
yeah.
also that's the soup recipe.
That, everybody, was the soup recipe.
And the daily reminder of the day too. 2-in-1, 2-in-1, everyone.
Man, a 2-in-1. That's one for the ages. Let's see here before we head out. Let's read the comments section. Things I've been crying all day. Yeah, just reach out to our ad here at the end here that we're about to give. Bad week to pick up a cocaine habit. Prices are up. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Hey, yo, what?
Yeah, for what's happening. And then those videos are badass, though. Yeah, we've seen them. I know you've seen them. Revelations, the boats getting bombed and shit.
Yeah.
And then, Jay, bump up your volume just a tad. Hopefully, I fixed that for you. You are a little lower than him. Meh, it's okay. It's okay. And then he said solid. I don't know what the solid part was about, but the show it's always solid. It's just, the goal is to make it better as we go. As we go. Before I wrap up on things, we'll be giving you again, like I said on Wednesday, we're going to give you a lowdown of all the songs from our good friend Edwin Gray from the band Tempest. He has a whole album out right now on YouTube. It's on Spotify as well. I think it might be in other platforms as well. I need to get a picture up here next time so you guys can see the website and stuff. I don't have that ready right now. Let me see if I can make something happen here real quick. Let's see. I might have just hooked it up. Let me see. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba. A good friend from Tempest right here. Tempest. Heck yeah, Tempest. Good band. They got a couple albums here. Well, I think this is a single, but yeah. Got a couple albums here. About 13 songs. All right. Right now we're going to play you Sorry Will Do. Wednesday's song was easy enough. We should have just started it from number one down. It is a little lengthy of a song, but I promise you it's a hell of a song. And with that, ladies and gentlemen. And with that, ladies and gentlemen.
You forgot to do the mental health thing.
Yeah. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to read you now your mental health. That's what I was going to go for. I didn't forget.
Okay, just making sure. It sounded like he forgot.
No. I will never forget about the mental health. That's one of the number one things that we do here on the show. And that wraps up, ladies and gentlemen, another intense episode of the Unbound Podcast. Tonight we covered it all, from the USS Gerald R. Ford's historic deployment to Latin America, to legal battles in Washington, skyrocketing coffee prices, NBA scandals, and Bad Bunny's breaking records at the Billboard Latin Music Awards. It's a reminder that the world is moving fast, politically, socially, and culturally. It affects all of us. But before we go, a quick mental health reminder. In the midst of stress, uncertainty, or just feeling overwhelmed, remember you are not alone. Reach out for support if you need it. 988 for immediate help, or 1-800-662-HELP for substance and use and mental for substance use and mental health resources. And don't forget, this is Unbound, where topics is off limits and your perspective matters. Stay informed, stay curious, and keep questioning the headlines. Thanks for listening. I'm Jay Morales with my good friend Revelations, and we'll see you next time. Same energy, same truth, and as always, stay unbound. Go ahead, buddy. Say your goodbyes.
Thank you guys for joining us and listening to the juicy topics we have had, and chat. If you are, have just woken up and decided to join in and listen to us before you went to work, I hope you have a safe, time at work. If you guys were listening to us when you first came in, thanks for listening to us, and thanks for letting us talk about it.
Hell yeah. Shout out to my dad, RMR, Rosalinda, PRUSA, producer Mike, and everybody else in the future who watches this show. I appreciate you coming all the way to the end, and make sure that you hit the subscribe and that bell. And on that, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to leave you with Tempest. Sorry, will do. Have yourself a great weekend. Stay safe. Make sure you get yourself a DD. We love you. We'll catch you on Monday.
She said, I'm sorry, she meant me. Well, I know just what that means. to the top. Oh yeah.